everyone, I hope you're well. Welcome to my channel. If you've not been here before, this is where I talk about twin flame process. So this reading is for this week. It's the 24th of July 2023, and we're going to see what the energy has to say for us this week. Right, so I'm seeing two things. I'm seeing what looks like a sheaf of wheat, harvest time. That stands for harvest time, and I'm also seeing a rose, a dog rose, a wild rose. Roses stand for love and romance, basically romance. So we've got the energy of harvest, of receiving and rewarding and fruition. They just said circumference. So circumference is, I think it's the outer, I think it's the outer length of a circle. So that's completion as well, circumference. So coming to completion, romantic love around sexual partners and obviously twin flames. And then they're showing me two kind of very small, I think they are koala bears, something like that. They look like small mammals hugging each other. So we will see. Oh, I know what it is, yes, because they're the ones that the marsupials, where the one is in the other's pouch. So it's one that lives inside of you, which is your twin flame, basically. So your twin flame process is the one that you're connected to, that lives inside of you, your beingness, in your emotions and your mentality, and also obviously vibrationally connected. You might as well be physically together all the time, really, because apart from you can't see it physically, they are with you all the time. And then they've got the top of a mountain showing, and they've got the sun at the top of the mountain, which is also resolution, they're saying. Things coming to resolution. And in a good way, because it's the sun and it's shining. Oh, look, that's jumping out. The chariot, masculine and feminine coming together. Movement, they just said, in terms of that. Renewal, again, they are saying. They also just said reversing. So that means turning back time. That means coming full round again, full circle to something that you've left behind. Reprieve, they're saying, which again is about being drawn backwards into something that is, they just said ahead of time. So I guess it's things coming to culmination time-wise. The turn of the wheel, everything starts again. They're saying multiple opportunities moving forward. So it feels like an open road. Nothing is signed off. So nothing definite, but just opportunities to move forward in terms of romance, resolution, reprieve. For some, they're saying it might just be coming to terms with something. Maybe you are leaving it behind. Maybe you're coming to the end of your journey and you're realising, oh, that isn't my twin flame after all. If so, then you're moving on to the next one. And you'll be finding them at some point. For some, it'll be coming together with an old one. So it's all different, logistically different for different people, but moving on in some way is what they're saying. Okay, let's get a few cards out. Kaleidoscope. So this rose that they're showing me is turning into one of those kaleidoscopes that you have when you're a kid, where you turn the end and it's got all the different patterns at the bottom that you're looking at. Changes the pattern. So it's like multiple opportunities, basically, for like moving forward. And things coming in from left field, they're saying, and from out of the blue, from out of sight. A lot of kind of aha moments coming in. It feels like some people are going to be going, oh, I didn't think it was that was going to happen. Oh, I didn't think it was that person that was coming back. Some people are going to be receiving back someone who is not there to inflame, who's just someone who's part of their process, they're saying. So someone coming out of the blue. It's all about chain link reaction, the chain of love. So events happening to make you feel more love and be more aware of love, basically, and what love really is and who you love, essentially. So that's what's going on. Let's get another card out. Justice. So everything coming right, basically. And everything is always exactly as it's meant to be. So everything is always right. It's just that it doesn't always look like it's right because you don't always want it to be the way it is. But this is about everything coming around that's meant to come around, basically. So whatever it is the best thing for you, and it's the thing that's meant to happen. And it's all like a link. It's linking you into, essentially, even if it's not exactly what you want, it's linking you into exactly what you want at some point. So it's maybe just something coming to build your energy in a different way so you can receive exactly what you want at a later date. But it is a big week, they're saying. It's a momentous week. We've got a full supermoon coming on let me just see when that is. It's the next moon that comes along, and it's coming on the 2nd of August, I think. Let's have a look. Just see what sign it's in. Aquarius. So yeah, Justice, the Swords, very much the energy of Aquarius, like mentally, mental ability and high-mindedness, and seeing everything as being part of something else, something bigger. So everything being right, essentially right for you, no matter how much your ego doesn't want it. So there's change to the ego as we come into that full moon. It's more of a broader perspective, a bigger perspective on things, higher perspective from the intellect. So it's from the masculine point of view. So it's the expansion of the ego. So it's the resolution of the ego as well. It's like the ego becoming higher self, basically. So the two things coming into alignment, masculine and feminine, coming together, the higher self and the ego coming together and becoming one. So operating from one broader perspective that encompasses higher self and egoic lower self, thought and higher understanding, thought and consciousness, basically, higher consciousness coming together. Brand new journey in the Fool, so that would also be 0 point. So we've got an 11, we've got a 0 point. And then let's see what we've got here. Queen of Swords, which is the brain of the feminine. So essentially becoming feminine, becoming aligned with the ego. So becoming aligned with their masculine as we come towards that moon, that full supermoon. So basically coming together inside of yourself. So meeting up, ego, higher self, becoming one. Operating from one perspective, 0 point. So that's full circle, right? So that's the process finished in some way. Let's go here. Ending in the mind, 10 of Swords, same thing, ending of the ego, basically. So it's like you're going to be absorbing your own ego, and you won't even notice you've got an ego. Feels like. So it's just like higher self, but you're operating from higher self as ego in the physical domain. So operating completely from broader perspective. Maybe just seeing yourself completely, awareness of self completely, looking at yourself completely, reading your own mind completely, before you do things, seeing what you're going to do, before you say something, seeing what you're going to say, understanding why you're saying it from a higher perspective and not just saying it because it's what comes out, and knowing that you're in ego when you're in ego, that kind of thing, knowing when you're not in ego. Just all knowingness, it feels like. Page of Pentacles, which is form showing up. So once you achieve that liberation from self, there isn't anywhere else to go. Once you're in constant awareness of where you are at in relation to your ego, you have the ability to work beyond ego at all times, or to function through the ego in the most higher perspective. So to use your ego as a valuable tool for enlightenment and for self-worth, it feels like. And then we've got Ace of Swords, which is also the mind, and it's communication, and it's the number 1. So we've got a 10, we've got an 11, we've got a 0, we've got a 1, we've got a 1. The only one that isn't a 1, Queen of Swords in these cards. She's a 3. So ending in terms of the mind and a beginning in terms of the mind. Ace of Swords. So it feels like the end of everything that was or has been you and the beginning of something else from a different perspective completely. Let's get another out here. 2 of Swords, so I've got the mind crossing the heart. Choices between mind and the heart. Choice between ego and higher self. So again, choice between ego and higher self. Seeing that your ego is in operation and choosing to not therefore end it and not use it. And to back down from it. And to maybe not say something that you were going to say. Come out of an operation where maybe you're angry, to stop your anger before you're angry, that kind of thing, to stop yourself being triggered, to notice your trigger coming up and just like pull away from it, but not in a way that feels horrible, because there's some points in this journey where your triggering is vital. And you're meant to get triggered because you can't see your ego unless you're triggered into your ego. You can't see your anger unless you're triggered into your anger. You can't see your sadness unless you're triggered into your sadness, unless you experience the anger and the sadness. So this feels like you've been through that and you're going to be guided to have that opportunity come round again, but to say to yourself maybe, oh, I'm getting triggered into anger, I'm getting triggered into sadness, I'm not going to go there. Something like that, because it's the form that's showing up in the physical dimension that's going to cause this reaction of choosing between the mind and the heart and operating from high-mindedness as that Aquarian energy moves in. 4 of Wands, which is homecoming, celebrations, weddings, marriages, and vibrational accuracy, groundedness, having all your ducks in a row. Boundaries, they're just saying as well. So it feels like this, having your ducks in a row, emotionally, mentally, physically, mindfully, is the boundary that's required for the brand new journey to come about in the Aquarius. Aquarius is the water bearer, so it's like the bringer as well, right? Bringing of emotions, even though it's in the intellect sign, because it brings in Pisces, and Pisces is emotional healing. So it brings the healing, and the healing starts in a different way. And I think that's the form that's coming in. And this is homecoming, so it's something coming home to you. They just said coming home to roost. A rooster is masculine. So maybe it's the masculine coming home for some people. Let's go here. And then we've got Ace of Cups, which is the 1 basically, and love. And then we've got that in line with justice, so the right one, the form showing up of the right one. So whoever it is for you, the right one, or whatever it is for you. It'll be different for everybody where they're at in their process. Maybe for some people it's going to be a different event or a different person or a different synchronicity or sign that shows up even, they're saying, that leads you into more awareness, because that's the 11, so that's awakening. Synchronicities and signs coming up that show you why you're here basically, and confirm again what you're going through. Signs showing up in the physical environment. And we've got a lot of this mental energy as well, so it could be clairaudience, could be hearing something, it could be claircognizance, just knowing something, clearly knowing something, hearing a word going off in your head. And then it's connected to twin flame process. So it could be a mental connection that's firing off. So it's between you and your twin, and there is something that kicks something off in the physical between you, something ending. They're saying that the full circle, the completion, is that you know that it's there because of how your mind is operating. So it's because you will see that you are at the end of your process, at the end of your journey, and about to have your reunion, when your mind is operating in a different way, than it's ever operated before. And it feels like it's a really kind of almost like a hardline mentality, a very masculine mentality. Really having your boundaries intact without any fear of saying no to people, and a flat no without any explanation, because the feminine energy is always about explaining yourself, justifying yourself, feeling like you need to explain to others, which amounts really to people pleasing, and not putting yourself first. The masculine energy that you absorb through this process that brings you to completion is the firm boundary that brings you into a place where you are able to just say no to someone and not feel that you have to explain anything to them. So that's how you know you're at the end of your journey. That's the ending in the mind, right, that leads to brand new communication. Because when you're ready, your boundaries are stable and firm, means that you're ready to start a relationship again with the person that triggered you most in the first place. So that would be your twin flame if you know them. When you went through the triggering phase and they triggered you more than anyone else, and then you had to separate to heal. But you can only heal by experiencing the triggers, becoming aware of the triggers, understanding the triggers, noticing how you operate in regard to your triggers, right, which I've already said here. And then once that's finished, you come back into communication, which we've got here with the one. So at the full moon, basically, in Aquarius. Let's have a look underneath. The Lovers. So we've got the form of the Lovers showing up by the full moon, basically. So should I get one more out on any of these? Let's have a look and see if there's anything else. That's what they're saying, basically. So for a lot of people, it's going to be the reunion. Judgment, destiny. So that's kind of like it's going nowhere else, right? This energy. There isn't anything else to do. Just be interesting to see what it says on these two. Ten of Swords, which is the ending. Wounded Warrior, Nine of Wands, so end of the masculine process. So you finish their process inside of you, like those marsupials. I think that's what you call them, right? The kangaroo kind of animals and the koala kind of animals. Where you hold them inside of you. So you finish their process inside of you. So the resolution is coming on that because it's coming in you. So you'll see it in yourself. Ace of Swords. Wisdom. The Hermit. So seeing it all, basically. So seeing where the ego is in everything. There's something here as well about control they're talking about. So what I'm feeling is when something's brand new, right? Like a baby being born, and a baby has no control over its impulses, obviously. So something being reborn, it is like it's brand new. There's like this kind of, they've got this like quavering energy, like it's not established, like a flickering, you could say, or a quavering energy around it starting again. It's almost as though you are going to be listening to somebody and you'll feel your lips like quavering, but you won't say anything, even though your mind is going to be running at speed. You won't say anything. So if you're going to get contact from your twin, you won't be saying anything straight away. Your mind is going to be whirring and the thoughts are going to be flowing, but you're not going to say anything. And I think that's why we've got the Queen of Swords and we've got the Two of Swords with it's like closed off, right? So it's kind of closed, because the heart is the emotions, and the emotions always want to leap into action, right? So you blurt something out, but the mind crosses the heart. So it's kind of like, no, it's a no. There's a boundary. There's a like, no, think about it first. Let's go on the Queen. Transformation of self. So doing something completely differently, which probably is for a lot of people that are watching this, not blurting something out from an emotional standpoint. and just keeping stum and waiting. Maybe not waiting very long. I don't know how long you're going to wait. 3 minutes? She's a 3. I don't know. 3 days? 3 hours? A count to 3. Let's go on the Two of Swords. Emotions coming up. So maybe until you've just explored your emotions in relation to what's coming to you and what's being said, what's showing up in form. Maybe there'll be a need to explore your emotions privately, feeling-wise, and not share them. And maybe that's the end of the lesson as well, that's something that you continue to do on your own, because the overwhelmment that the masculine feels for the connection, twin flame connection, is because the feminine shares emotion. So sharing of your emotion, verbally sharing emotion, that drives the masculine away because they can't handle it because they're wounded. So they can't even handle their own emotions, let alone someone else's. So there's a lesson that's been learned, a very long lesson, in coming to terms with your own emotions and dealing with your own emotions. And actually the culmination part of that is that you're not even going to have that much to deal with because you've come to resolution around your own emotions. So it's kind of cleared it all up. They're saying it's cleared it all up, so everything's always been exactly as it's meant to be, everything that you've ever felt since you had your breakup or your gone into separation. Justice. 6 of Wands, coming back into town, riding back into town, successful, coming through success in vibration. That's about holding it all together. So successful vibration, point of attraction, how it is seen through the physical aspect, the mental aspect, and the emotional aspect is holding it all together. It's groundedness, which is holding it all together, which reflects in an emotional sense by not just blurting out your feelings to someone, because you hold it together and you resolve it inside. Because nobody's emotions are anybody else's business. They're only the individual's business, right? And no matter what the other person does, it's about how you treat yourself on the inside and how you allow yourself to feel, not what another person does to you that makes you feel something. Because you can never be in your point of attraction that way, because you will always be knocked off balance. So success, vibrational success, point of attraction, is about owning your own emotions, resolving your own emotions, and letting go of your own emotions, and not letting anyone else have control of you through your own emotional state by giving away your power through your emotions. And then the same mentality. So it's about just knowing yourself, knowing where your boundaries lie, being able to say a firm no without explaining why, because you shouldn't have to justify anything to anybody else, because it's nobody's business, right? So it's all of that coming around there for masculine and for feminine, because they're inside of you, so they're the same as you. They have that inner balance, masculine and feminine, which we call the divine masculine and the divine feminine, because it's a process. It's the process of achieving source, which is divinity, which is a resolution between the divine masculine and feminine inside of self for both individuals, despite the fact they're connected to each other, and because of the fact they're connected to each other, because it's all the same thing. The one, Ace of Cups, and the King of Wands, which is masculine vibration and mastery of vibration. So once the vibration is mastered, but can only be mastered through all 4 elements: physicality, emotionality, mentality, and vibrationality. All 4 have to be in alignment for vibrational accuracy to be perceived in the vibration, basically. And then the one can show up again. The Fool and a pain, creation through pain. And again, emotions and mentality. So what's been created through pain and a brand new journey on that. So where there was pain, there's a new beginning. So that's everything that you've had to let go of, basically. Or the thoughts of them or the feelings of them that you've had to confront inside yourself and say, this is not for my own good, right? And let go of it. And I have to move beyond this and let go of it. And yes, I'll always love them, but I have to let go of it. That kind of thing, right? 4 of Wands and connected in vibration. 8 of Wands, infinite connection. And again, it's like homecoming, basically. The homecoming of what you're vibrationally connected to, your twin flame. One more, the Chariot, homecoming, 10 of Cups, coming to resolution again. Masculine and feminine coming back together. Right, so that's it. I'm going to leave it there, and I'll be back with monthlies and then next week, I suppose, for something at the full moon. Lots of love. If anybody wants to get a reading, my details are in the description box below. Lots of love. Bye.